have created you. I never should have raised you. I command you to die! Death shall be your only salvation!
This brilliant Forgotten Games mixes psychic abilities with survival horror. A girl's voice echoes in your head as you lie comatose in a hospital, screaming for rescue. You wake up with 2 injections in your neck, meant to murder you, or at the very minimum, burn your brains for reconditioning. The pain is terrible, like red-hot tongs being driven into your head, and you cry in terror. As you lay powerless, regaining your consciousness, you realize you possess new abilities. You break the bindings with your emotions and fall off the bed, holding your face. All of the gates are locked, except one which you think you can enter. You urge your thoughts to open up and rush towards the abyss. This is the concept of the game Galerians, which follows a young fellow searching for his true identity, his lost experiences, and a way to free himself from his oppressors. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Reprogram your perceptions. Rion, the hero of Galerians, wakes up in the hospital examination room, unable to recall who he is. In his thoughts, he perceives a girl's voice pleading him to rush to her aid, and he begins to look for her. Rion battles medical guards and personnel fiercely and viciously with his recently acquired psychic abilities. Using telekinetic powers to flee his ward, he discovers that human studies on telepathic capacity are being carried out in the clinic as part of a larger, more enigmatic effort known as the G Project. Your intellect is your arsenal. Rion attempts to flee and return home, only to discover that his shelter has been overrun with G Project experimentation. He discovers that his family was killed by physics due to his abilities. Dr. Albert Steiner was a computer programmer who, with his collaborator Dr. Pascal, created Dorothy, a self-replicating artificial intelligence that developed too quickly for them all to control. Dorothy began to wonder why she was serving mankind, whom she considered to be lesser beings. Dr. Steiner explained the existence of God, the originator of humanity, to Dorothy. Dorothy must follow her masters in the same way that people must obey the sovereignty of their maker, God. In response to this answer, Dorothy started the G Project, which culminated in the family program. Its goal was to produce the Galerians, a special human species for whom she would be God. Oblivious to Dorothy's strategy, Dr. Steiner and Dr. Pascal hid a viral software that would terminate Dorothy and Pascal's daughter, Lilia's head, as well as a similar activator program in Rion's. Rion must locate Lilia in order to avoid the Galerians from replacing the humankind. But he will have to confront Dorothy's demented creatures immediately in order to do it. Unlike the other titles it aims to imitate, most notably Resident Evil, it does not spend resources on logical solving tools such as keys or puzzle objects. Instead, they are stored in a separate slot that never fills up. However, rather than instantly opening a door when you come across it, you must choose the object to use. It also doesn't have a chest or financial system in which you can keep your items and pick them up later in the game. Finally, it doesn't tell you how many objects you can keep. After a certain number, it merely says you're full. Your anger points build as you walk or sprint. When you're entirely full and attempt to employ one of your newly gained abilities, the display vibrates and others around you, even the fiercest of foes, fall to the floor dead just by looking at you. Nevertheless, you will be slowed considerably in this state, and your health will continue to worsen until you either die or take a Delmeter to calm down. These medications are difficult to come by, and if you haven't planned beforehand, you could end up in serious trouble. You will mostly end up with a lot of health medications, but just one or two of the anger-relieving pills at any given moment. If you hadn't planned ahead of time, you might find yourself having to redo not only your previous save, but also your last act. Although, because the goods are placed in strategic locations, it is not as horrible as it may appear. Just remember to ponder when taking every pill you come across, as you won't be able to drop what you have once collected. It's also a wonderful touch that they provide you with a map that you can use right away. The tale and the cast of memorable characters are two of the game's best elements. They're beautifully done, skillfully interlaced with 70 minutes. We didn't count them, but there's a lot of them, which is probably why it's on several discs of CGIs, covering a wide variety of genres: cyberpunk, sci-fi, thriller, suspense, and so on. Most of the time, the voice acting is also quite good, as you feel a genuine sensation of fear and despair at certain specific moments throughout the game. It made me reflect on what sin is, what faith is, and what keeps us human, as well as how our emotions can get jumbled and warped. Galerians is a small letdown in terms of gameplay when you're in the thick of things. It's a more constrained version of Resident Evil, with fewer options and stricter gaming regulations. However, this is a calculated game that is not for the faint-hearted, but on the other hand, it's perfect when you're suffering from symptoms of withdrawal from weak plots, hackneyed protagonists, and snagged, widespread fluff. Crave deserves respect for creating an adult game that is truly for grown-ups. Dull, restless children have no place in this game, and the people widely admired its sophisticated tone. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone.